Hey everybody, Dave here from Dave Tries to Fix Stuff, channel dedicated to the repair, restoration, and resurrection of broken stuff. And in this episode, we're going to take a look at this Peavey Express 112. Doesn't quite work right, so I'm going to service it and see if I can get it back on its feet again. Want to see what I do to it? Stick around, I'll show you. Thanks for joining me though, everybody. I think this is going to be a really fun episode. Let's dive right into this thing. I picked this up a couple weeks back on, it was Craigslist or OfferUp or one of those websites that you get that have the classified ads on them. And I picked it up really cheap. And when I say cheap, I mean really cheap. Like so cheap, I don't think I should tell you how much I picked it up for, because it might like cause a fluctuation in the market when you find out how cheap I got this for. I mean, it was pretty cheap. Anyway, these things, I think they're so cheap. I mean, this one I got for a really good price like that, basically because A, there are a couple of small things that are wrong with it. Nothing too drastic. I don't think it's anything that's going to be difficult to fix. I'll go over all the stuff that's wrong with it in a couple minutes, but the biggest reason why I got this for that low of a price is the fact that I think Peaveys are an extremely underappreciated and underrated amp, especially these old blue line amplifiers that they have. These were offered, I believe, back in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, right about that time. This is the Express, which is the 65 watt solid state version. They also have a Peavey Bandit 112, that is the 80 watt version of this. And then when you get up into the tube versions of these, you have the Peavey Bravo, which I've heard called the Marshall Killer, which it does have a very Marshall type tone to it, to the distortion channel. It's got a really nice sweet distortion. These solid states, the clean channels sound really, really good. They take pedals really well. You can do a lot with them. The distortion channel, although not my cup of tea, and I do think that is the weak point, is the distortion channel. If you are into not so much metal, but maybe more like kind of like 80s Dawkins and Motley Crue and stuff like that, I think this would be right up your alley with how these things are voiced. It's got a really big mid scoop in it, not a lot of lower end. I actually, when I was playing this through the last video to test the pickups on that Flying V, I actually used the bass and the mid, or actually put the bass in the mid, completely dimed them out, because just to be able to get a sound that I thought would have a good bottom end to it and push through that a little bit. It's very, very trebly. So if you like that good hair metal style sound, this would probably be right up your alley. But that said, let's go ahead and go through the things that are wrong with it and go over what I'm probably going to do with this. So to start with, we've got obviously a high gain and a low gain input. We've got the normal channel here, obviously the clean channel. We've got an equalizer here for the clean channel. We've got a lead channel with a gain and a master volume. They're calling them here super sat and post. And then the EQ over here they call voicing, which the bass is bottom, mid is called body, treble is called edge. You've got an effects loop, which is actually missing a nut that I'm going to have to replace. And then over here, the reverb, which actually has got a pretty nice little reverb on there too. So actually, before we take it up to the workbench, I thought it'd probably be a good idea for me to plug a guitar into this and demonstrate what the issues are with it. So I've actually got, for Peavey amp, I actually have my Peavey T30 guitar here, which I love. I've got it plugged into the high gain. Right now we're on the normal gain channel, and we're all the way down to 0 on the volume, which you see doesn't actually cut the volume out at all. But let's do a chord and slowly turn the volume up, and you'll see what the problem is with the volume. You can see. It's got very little volume. It's even going through the entire suite. volume, and now it's full volume throughout the entire swing bass. So I don't know if that's going to be a dirty pot or what the total problem is going to be on it, but that's definitely something we need to look at. So now the bright switch. It's doing a little bit more now than it was earlier. There's still I think that switch needs to be cleaned out, but it's not getting nearly enough difference in the overall tone. That one. Let's change it over to turn that down a little bit. I don't know how easy it is to hear on this microphone, but you can really hear. I mean, that's with the bass and the middle completely dimed out. The treble at 12 o'clock. Let's put them all at 12 o'clock and see. Or let's dime them all, see what happens too. Yes, I mean that's again that really not so much my cup of tea there. Let's see if usually on most tube amps that I play, most amps I play at, I really drive the middle section, bring the bass to probably about 3, and the treble just kind of to taste depending on the whatever the circuit is. But that's got just no bottom end, no beef to it, no nuts to it. Just it's very thin sounding. You really got to just crank that. Got to crank that lower end to get this thing to sound like it's got anything, you know? Or you can just turn everything to 12 o'clock and really turn up the gain. It does sound better when you crank it a little bit. That sounds good though right there. I really like the clean channel. I just need a little more control over the volume, so anyway, you get the idea what it is. I need to check I'll check the effects too. I don't have any cables down here to get this done, but I'll check the effects when I have it on the bench. But so I need to look at the normal gain channel. I'm sorry, the normal gain channel. This channel. I need to clean out the bright switch. Just basic. I think if I just do a basic service on this with getting all the pots cleaned out and just make sure that all the voltages are in spec and all that, I think we can get this thing running really well. So let's get it upstairs on the bench and we'll see what we get. So, I mentioned earlier in the thing, I got this thing for a really good price. And funny thing is that the guy that sold it to me, we'd made a deal for the $40 to do this, for me to buy it for $40. And I told him that, I said, I want to buy it, but the thing is, I don't have the ability to meet with you today and probably not for the next couple of days. Because I just my schedule, I was really busy and all that, and I wasn't going to be able to meet him. And I told him, I said, if you get somebody else that offers you money for it, then by all means sell it. You don't have to hold it for me, but I really do. I will buy this from you for $40. I said, just give me a couple of days to get in touch with you. And that couple of days, just because of everything that I was doing, ended up going from a couple of days to like a week and a couple of days. And he actually ended up texting me and saying, "Hey, I'll if you still want this thing, I'll offer it to you for $35." He thought maybe I was flaking out on him, but I had just completely forgotten about the fact that I had made the deal with him on this thing, and I felt horrible about it. I was like, "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry." So we made arrangements to meet and all that, and the thing was, I could have taken the $35 price, but we made a deal at $40, so I still gave him the $40, and and I'm glad I did. I mean, like I said, this is easily worth $40. I mean, this is an amplifier that is gravely underappreciated. These and the Bandits both. I mean, I think Bravos are just not very well known. It's not that they're not appreciated, they're just not very well known. And that's why those don't even end up selling for a whole lot of money. People think that because they sound so good, they're going to get, great. And I don't see those come up for sale nearly as much as I see these or I see Bandits. But the Bravos are, if you get a chance to pick these up, pick a Bandit up or pick a Bravo up, I highly suggest it, especially if you can get them for, a killer price like I got this one. I would say even probably, $100 for this amplifier is a good deal for it, if it's in completely working order, that is. I don't see anything identifying on the speaker. I don't know if this is, a Scorpion or a Sheffield or whatever, speakers, Black Widows. I know Peavey uses a lot of those different types of speakers. I may try and take this out a little bit later, because I'm still going to take all the stuff off of this and clean this up real good, because it doesn't show up very much on the video, but there's a lot of, this is that really high grain texture on this, and it's got a lot of dirt and gook and stuff in here. There's some places where and I know this is going to be kind of tough to see, but there's places where the Tolex is coming off here. This has got some blowout from where the retention clip for the power cord has kind of come off, so I'm going to have to take this out and work on that. But I'll probably take all this apart and just try to clean it up a little bit. So that's something that's coming up in just a little while. But for now, this is what we need to concentrate on. So, do a quick once over of the board. Check out the caps here. There's no evidence that there's any kind of leaking from the caps. Everything looks like it's in pretty good order, so I don't see anything really. That's another reason why you should like these old Peaveys, because this is back when they were still made in the United States. And like I was saying, these Peavey made, I'll be honest with you, I don't know if they still make really good stuff. They might. I haven't really played much Peavey stuff, or really any of it, since they've moved production offshore. But I've played plenty of Peavey amplifiers in my day, especially back in the 90s. Everything from, like I think I had a Backstage 50 was my first Peavey amp. I played through this. I played through a Bravo. I played through a Delta Blues. I played through a lot of them, and they're really underappreciated, and only because of the fact that when they built them in such a way that they could offer them for comparably or relatively less money than it would cost to buy, say, a Fender, or definitely for a Marshall. And people kind of looked at Peavey as just being strictly an entry-level brand, because a lot of stuff that they did make was considered very entry-level, but it was high-quality entry-level, and it had good tone. And this is a perfect example of that. This thing can sound really, really good. And it's just a shame that people don't appreciate these things as much as they should. So... So you can see right here, I mean, it's upside down, but you can see 1894. So this was made in 1984. 1994. I can talk. No, we still got noise there. Noise there. Noise there. I don't know if that's actually... So we still have all the same problems. So we're gonna have to take this back out, and we're gonna have to remove the board from the chassis so I can get a better shot at those potentiometers and get those cleaned out a little bit better. So let me get this back apart, and we'll be back. Okay, there we go. Good. Well, poop. I still am not going to be able to get direct access to these things because they are on, the access is actually on the bottom, on the back of them. So, look at it, you can see right here. That there's no access from the front. Well, phooey. And the thing is, I really didn't want to have to like desolder anything. But it looks like I'm gonna have to desolder some stuff. So, all right, let's. I know I'm gonna have to do the reverb one. I'm gonna have to do this one here. There are a couple more of them in here too, but Okay, so according to the schematic, this thing, and according to that right there too, is a 10K pot. So we are going to hook it up and see if we get, it looks like we kind of are, we're going to get 10K. So we've got 9.3, my 9.25, so that's well within the 10% spec, or right about the 10% spec. That goes down to 0 on that side. It goes up to 9.16 on that side, so it's within a 10% spec. So this is working. At least it's got the impedance that shows that it's working. Okay, I have it pseudo hooked back up, pseudo put back together so I can listen to it. First of all, I'm getting radio frequencies through this, so I got to make sure the shield, I might have to add some shielding across the top of this to get that to not come up. But I'm on the clean channel, so if you'll hear now. Even though my guitar is out of tune. I now have full sweep on that channel, so. But you can hear that now. The reverb, I'm gonna have to take that one off too, because the reverb is like almost, not almost, is getting that still, and it's not, almost non-existent. I think that's because of the pot, because I can, if I knock the reverb pan back here, you can hear it, it's got reverb. For some reason the signal going to the reverb is not coming through. And I think that might be because of the pot too, so I'm going to have to take that pot off as well. And then, that one's clean. Oh, I need to get on the other channel. Let's do these. These all sound pretty clean. I don't hear anything on that. I don't hear anything. There's a little bit of on that, so that master volume, that post is going to have to come off, and then that one's clean, clean, clean. So the reverb and the master volume one are both going to have to come off, and I'm going to have to clean those things separately, because I think that might be the basis of the problem for this thing at this point. You know, I'm turning some of these things, and even though they don't have much noise, I have to say there's a lot of gummy, it feels gummy in some of these. And I'm wondering if I need to be taking all of these out. Although, you know, it's one of those things, it's like if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of a thing. But, you know, this one felt about as gummy as this one and this one. These feel like real, like there's physical resistance trying to turn them. Whereas some of these turn a lot easier than others. The one I did the volume one that I removed already, now that I've done that, is moving very freely. This one's starting to move very freely as well. And the more I clean it, the easier it's moving. I'm going to imagine that it's going to be cleaning it up. So I'm just wondering if these if these should also be taken out and cleaned, because the gumminess can't be good for them. So let's see if I can get this back in here without messing it up. Okay, so we are back here with everything put back together into the cabinet. The chassis has been cleaned, the cabinet's been cleaned, front's been cleaned, all the hardware's been taken off and scrubbed. So all the dirt and all that good stuff, all that crappy stuff, I guess I should say, has been removed from this thing. So it actually looks really, really good right now. Looks almost new. I mean, there's obviously some little areas here that are with scratches and stuff. I'm not going to worry about that, but it is back together and looking great. All of the pots have been removed. All of the pots have been cleaned. All of the gumminess is gone from the mechanics of the pots. All the scratchiness is gone. So it looks like we're in pretty good shape. So right now we're going to just run through and do a little bit of a tone check on it to make sure that everything sounds like it's coming out okay. So I'm on the clean channel for right now, volume at about 1.5 with an out of tune guitar. So let me tune this real quick. And then like magic, it's tuned. Okay, so you can hear the reverb's working. Let's crank the reverb so I can get a sense of that. It's a lot. So keep that around 3. Maybe not even 3. There you go. Hear my dog. Whenever he hears us, he starts to ooh. You barely hear him. He's over there. He's doing it. Ooh. Okay. So we've got the clean channel sounds to the bright channel. Although I'll say there's a little bit of okay, I guess I worked that out. So the bright channel works. Let's It's a high gain channel, so there's going to be inherent noise in that, but that is a really noisy high gain channel. Listening to me play that, and they're just cringing because it sucks so bad. Anyway, I think that sounds pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Like I said, there's this is much more geared towards, I think, more hard rock than it is, you know, like modern rock, or although I guess it could kind of produce tones like that too, just getting the EQ set up how you want. But this thing sounds good. I've said it half a dozen times already on this video. This is a very underappreciated amplifier, and if you can pick these things up for, you know, $100 or less, you're doing pretty good. That's a pretty good deal in my opinion. This thing is loud enough to where you could play a club date with it. Obviously, if you want to play anything at all, you should probably be miking your stuff, so it doesn't matter how loud it gets. But if you're looking for something that'll push, you know, and keep up with a decent PA in a, you know, small to medium-sized room, this thing will more than fit the bill. So I highly recommend picking these up. These and the Bandits, the Express and the Bandits. So, but as far as the repair of this thing, we're calling this one another success. I'm happy with it. I'm good with it. I'll probably be throwing this thing up on eBay pretty soon. With probably a minimum price of $100, just because I've done the work on it. So there's no reason this should go for less than $100, but I'll throw it on there. We'll see if we have anybody that bites, and hopefully I'll be able to sell it, make a little bit of money on top of what I put into it. So anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure you click subscribe if you liked what you see, or what you saw, I guess I should say. Click the like button. Anything you know about these, please leave a comment down below. Anything you want to say to me. If you have any, you know, suggestions or anything like that, suggestions on what guys would like to see me work on, you know, let me know. But by all means, leave a comment. But until the next video, hey, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.